I'm a great believer in that getting the right mindset will kind of trigger the changes we need to happen, and that then kind of gears us into thinking in a certain way. We start filtering out the distractions and focus on the opportunities, and we create great change through that optimistic, positive mindset. That all comes from the brain kind of filtering through the system, sending out those good chemicals which then enables us to achieve those things. And that's all true. What is also true, and this is the particular part of the vlog I want to give you, is that we can reverse that engineering, which is by, if we also have a strong mindset, a clear mindset, we can often breathe in a certain way or stand in a certain way. So posture and how we're breathing can also be effective. And you probably notice this when you are feeling sad or low or upset about something, your posture will change. But when you're feeling more confident, you can probably go back to a time you remember feeling, maybe you stood a little taller or more broad-shouldered or a little more confident with your footing. So for me, it goes both ways. From the mindset, it can filter through to the rest of the system, into the body, and adopt that positive or optimistic mindset. But also it can work in the reverse, where the body begins to create that posture, which then informs the mindset. Now, there is a larger piece of work by Amy Cuddy, and she's done a fantastic TED talk, and I invite you to go and check that out for more detail about it. So all I'm going to say is, if you've seen it, then you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, go and check it out. But in that video, which I want to draw to my personal story, is actually how effective that is. The idea is that if we can model particular parts of behavior, we're going to get the same or similar, therefore close to, results. And it's a really big part of my conversations I'm having with a lot of people, and they go back to so many years of my training, that it's about how we can also get the mindset, but how much the body, physically, we inform the brain of what we're doing. So there's lots of little tricks that we can do which kind of can begin to convince ourselves. Now, I'll take the very quick one of standing with in a confident pose can begin to influence your mindset to maybe think of more positive or optimistic things. And as you begin to notice you doing this, you begin to see a little more opportunity, a little more hope where there wasn't some. So this posture we can adopt can inform the brain, kind of back upstream, as it were. And we can get similar results, which is kind of the purpose behind that. It's not simply just kind of the taking just on the pose, it's about then the results we get from that pose or that posture we're adopting. So sometimes I think the best way is giving you a story, and the story is my own here, and I'll make it as brief as possible. I was a big motorcyclist for a number of years, many years actually, until recently, and I remember this particular scene, and it'll give you an explanation of where modelling is so powerful, even in its slightest form. I was filtering through traffic on a motorway. Traffic wasn't going particularly fast, it wasn't overtly dangerous, it was quite busy, but I was confident, fine and safe. So I was riding along on a big BMW motorcycle, and my fault, I'm to blame, I got a little close to one car, which then clipped the side, and actually on the wing mirror, side mirror for the BM, my bike, just popped off. They're designed to pop off, they're meant to kind of have that release catch, so they just kind of fall to the floor. So I was fine, and the car wasn't even barely noticed it, so it was all on me. Mirror hit the ground, and I carried on for a little while, and I thought, oh shit, that's about 80 quid a pop to replace. I don't feel like paying out 80 quid. I wonder if I can go back and go and get it. Now, bearing in mind I'm on a big BMW, dark blue, and what I wore was what I'd say is kind of a full kind of Cordura kit, leather kit, like flip up lid helmet, black gloves, and kind of a high-vis tabard on my chest, which I think gives you maybe an impression of maybe where I'm going with this. So I pull over onto the hard shoulder. Traffic's moving quite steadily now, so I'm looking by the way 15, maybe at top 20 miles an hour, so it's slow. And I just get into the mindset actually that I think that if I stand in a particular way and gesture similar to a traffic officer, I may get enough of a response for people to stop. So I walked to a position which was more or less in line with where I believe I could see the wing mirror, which from what I could see, thankfully was just in between the lanes, therefore hadn't been crushed. And I walk out into the lanes with my arm up in a authoritative and what I would offer traffic officer posture. And each lane, as I went through it, stopped for me. So if you're from the UK, if you know the M25, stopping 4 lanes of traffic is no small feat. But because I carried off this posture and this air of authority in a particular way, I got all 4 lanes of traffic to stop. I went, collected the item, and made my way safely back to the hard shoulder. And the traffic moved on, and that was fine. Had I taken any other approach, if I'd been uncertain, if I'd maybe taken my helmet off and not worn the tabard at all, I would have then been having a struggle to, I think, be as convincing as I was hoping I was going to be. That modelling, as similar even in its slightest detail, it wasn't like an exact copy of a police officer by any means or a traffic officer at all, but I had enough of it, not to convince, but to create enough doubt in the other motorists of who I was. And sometimes when we're trying to convince ourselves or other people, it doesn't need to be convincing the full package. It just needs to be enough to create a degree of doubt and uncertainty, which allows us to kind of command that situation or take control of it or whatever it may be. So my modelling of a traffic officer was able to enable to get the mirror. But what I want to get for you is the understanding is that if we can take a particular pose and demonstrate it with confidence and congruency, and we know what we're doing, and modeling those particular behaviors, you can get similar results. So all I could do is, like a game, find the opportunity to play with this, to try it out somewhere. When you're feeling less confident in a situation, wherever it may be, take a moment in a quiet space to stand as you'd like to stand, breathe as you like to breathe, or go back to some of the videos that I've done about really understanding that, or watch the Amy Cuddy video and get an understanding of what you can do if we begin to piece together this character that you can use to feel more confident, and then take that with you into the environment. And at that point, just notice what happens, notice the changes, notice how people interact with you, notice how you feel about yourself, and begin to witness the power of the mind and the power of the body when it comes to changes and things you're after. So I hope you got something from that. At least it's amusing or interesting or kept you entertained, and I will catch you next time.